Welcome my friends to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today we'll have another installment of bands you need to hear, another band recommendation of an artist. If you're not familiar with them, then you absolutely need to check them out. And of course this is following in the theme that I've been doing with the last few episodes, in the run-up, in the countdown, if you like, to Incineration Fest in London, Camden this May. I've picked another band from that exquisite lineup to recommend. A band that if you're going to the festival, I seriously recommend you try and catch them, because these guys are freaking awesome. So today's band in question, today's recommendation, band from the UK. They've been around for quite a while now, since sort of 2005-ish, I believe, saw earlier. They've got 4 albums so far to their name. Really hoping that we get another new album soon, because this is a catalogue that I visit very frequently. So, if you're wondering who, I'm talking about one of the greatest doom bands around at the minute, the mighty Witchsorrow. Absolutely sterling band. This is a truly incredible band. Now, if you like Electric Wizard, if you like Triptykon, if you like Candlemass, if you like St. Vitus, if you like Conan, if you like Black Sabbath, if you like Trouble, you know, the list can go on and on. Witchsorrow combine all the very best elements of these bands, these doom bands, and they produce some of the finest and highest quality doom metal around. And that is no exaggeration, because honestly, Witchsorrow are freaking great. So this, as I just showed there, that's actually the first album, the self-titled album from 2010, I believe. And this is a sterling album. It's absolutely fantastic. I would say this is quite simplistic in its nature. It's not overly complicated. It's not epic and bombastic. In no way. It's quite stripped back, primal doom. No bells, no whistles, no frills and frilly bits attached. This is just good, honest doom. Very dark. Definitely very dark. There's lots of themes of witches and of course the devil and black magic, all this good stuff. But when you take tracks like The Agony, the opening track there, that is just doom, droning doom, just seriously good stuff. The Trial of Elizabeth Clark, another brilliant track on the album. There's only 5 tracks on this album, but of course they are very long, sprawled out tracks. Thou Art Cursed and Impaler Tepes, absolutely brilliant stuff. The first album, that was the first album that I heard, and I heard this, it must have been sort of circa 2013, 2014. It was actually after the release of the second album, God Curse Us, that I stumbled upon this band. I've been listening to them for many years now. And this second album, again, this is a fantastic album. A little bit more progressed than the first album, definitely. There is a little bit more depth of character, if you like. There's a little bit more of an epic, dark, doomy embellishment there. To be expected. The band are evolving, they're growing. Really solid album. Really like this one. I think I do lean a little bit more towards that first album out of these two, but Aurora Atra, brilliant opening track there. God Curse Us, very doomy and heavy. Masters of Nothing is a very good, dark, very slow paced, even for doom, droning track. Breaking the Law, brilliant track. And of course, we're not talking Judas Priest, we're talking L-O-R-E, Law, as in the old laws. Brilliant track, a little bit more of a Sabbath feel to that. And we've got Den of Serpents. Great way to close the album. A very long, very doomy epic. By the time we're on to the third album, which is an absolute stunner, that one I should mention was 2012, I believe. 2012 indeed. We had a few years in between the release of the second and the third album. I believe this was 2015, which it was. This was No Light, Only Fire. Now this one, things progress again. Things have progressed a lot by then, and I will show off very quickly. I do actually have a vinyl copy of this album. This is a more recent reissue back on Black Records, but I will show off very quickly. I acquired this because I just happened to stumble upon it on eBay. A seller had a new sealed copy, and it was just over £10. So I thought, I've got to have that. I've got to have that. It's really nice sort of smoky effect, a little bit ghostly, a little bit spooky. Nice stuff though, really nice. Double album, of course, long and doomy. We kick off the album with There's No Light, Only Fire. Now that is a much faster paced, up-tempo, heavy metal rager. Doomy kind of Sabbath vibes there, but really good, absolutely brilliant. It just kicks off with a bit more speed before you get the Martyr, which brings things right down. Doomy, it's stomping, it's sludgy. Made of the Void, another brilliant, absolutely brilliant track. To the Gallows is a faster paced, but it's dark. This album is actually a really dark album. And of course, you look at this artwork and you think it's not going to be incredibly light. There's not going to be a huge amount of songs about crystal dragons flying through the sky and pooping rainbows. No, you're looking at some seriously dark art for a seriously dark band. To the Gallows, as I mentioned, Disaster Reality, really long, just interesting, complex actually for Doom, complex Doom track, love it. Four Candles is a very, not to be confused with the two Ronnies, of course, Four Candles, but Four Candles is a nice little introductory piece before we have the very epic and very good, very grand De Mysteris Doom Sabbathas, of course, in tribute to the title of the first Mayhem album. Absolutely incredible stuff, just really epic, grand Doom. Doomy as you like. But then we get on to what is, in my opinion, their best album, and it's certainly my favourite album, talking Hexenhammer. And I believe this album came out in 2018, so there's a few years now, 5 years. This is what I mean when I say I hope there's a new album soon. This album is absolutely stunning. This is a truly majestic album. An album cover like that as well. You know exactly what you're going to get. The intro piece, Maleficus, brilliant. Of course, Hexenhammer is the first proper track, and that is absolutely stunning. This album has a bit more pace to it. A little bit faster paced, less epic, more complex, I would say, but it's more Sabbath kind of Candlemass. So it's more heavy metal than just sort of really slow or drony funeral doom, for example. There's more heavy metal vibe to it. Certainly in tracks like The Devil's Throne or Eternal, brilliant stuff. The Parish, that is such a creepy, menacing doom masterpiece. Honestly, I could just reel off all of the titles from this particular album and say, yep, there's something really special about this track, because this is a very special album. This is dark. Again, if you're fancying some really dark, twisted music, you've got yourself an ale, you're sitting there by candlelight, being dark and brooding, then this is exactly the sort of stuff that you want to be listening to, because this is exactly what I'd be reaching for. So, Hexenhammer, absolutely sterling, probably without a doubt my favourite Witchsorrow album. Of course, very closely followed by this grand masterpiece, which sounds all the sweeter on vinyl. Just saying. There's No Light, Only Fire. Killer track, killer album. And of course, that excellent first album, Witchsorrow, the self-titled album, and the beautiful God Curse Us. Absolutely stunning stuff. Just doom mastery. So if you like good old heavy doom metal, as I say, in the Sabbath or Candlemass vein, in the Trouble, St. Vitus, Triptychon, just crushing doom vein, Witchsorrow are the band for you. Check them out. They are a band you freaking need to hear. It's worth mentioning as well that the musicianship with Witchsorrow is absolutely faultless. The riffs are crushingly heavy. The leads and the solos are absolutely brilliant. There's only a 3-piece band, but absolutely stunning stuff. The drumming is brilliant, keeps that time so beautifully. The bass is thick, rumbling and boomy. Brilliant stuff, absolutely delectable. And of course we've got some really solid vocals as well. Very much not trying to be an Ozzy Osbourne, not trying to sound like the traditional Doom sounds or emulate Tom G Warrior. We're not going with that here. We're just going with good, solid Doom metal. It's just fitting vocal work for this sort of metal anyway. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So, any other Witchsorrow fans out there? Anyone else heading to Incineration Fest this May that is planning on catching the mighty Witchsorrow? Let me know. I'm interested to hear other people's thoughts and opinions on this mighty band. So thanks again for watching, my friends. Really appreciate the views, really appreciate the liking and subscribing. It's very, very, very much appreciated, of course. Take care, my friends. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. And above all, stay heavy.